We are on page number 152 in this book, shloka number 62. Trisama Samagas Sama. Let's begin. सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्मा तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। Please repeat after me. Trisama Samagasama Nirvanam Bheshajam Bhishak Sanyasakrit Chamashanto Nishtha Shantih Parayanam. Trisama Samagaha Sama Nirvanam Bheshajam Bhishak Sanyasakrit Kshamaha Shantaha Shamaha Shantaha Nishta Shantihi Parayanam. So today we will be starting with the 574th name of the Lord. Trisama. Trisama, we have the 16 steps of puja, the main chunk of the puja. Before the 16 steps, there are the preliminary steps. Preliminary steps like invoking the mandapa, radhana, kalasha sthapana, kalasha puja, then doing the panchamrita puja, shankha puja, ghanta puja. So all these come in the preliminary. Then you do the sankalpa. After the sankalpa is done, you do 16 steps of puja, upachara. After the 16 steps, there are the punah puja. Punah puja, I translate it as entertainment section. Like you entertain your guests. You have a 70-inch flat screen. Whether the guest is interested or not, you want to show. or you have a home theater system. Have you taken, do you do that? That you take them to the home theater system, display the home theater system, or in the home theater system you have the, those elaborate massager chairs, and then you sit there and watch the movie demo. Or you purchase the new car, a BMW sports model. It's after 50 that there is an itch for such things, I'm told. What do they call it? They have a midlife crisis. So then you're often, Swamiji, do you want to go for a spin? It is a stick shift also. And I said, if it is a stick shift, then I say that, then I'll take you for a spin. So, all this, why do we do it? Or if it is a new family and they have small kids, and then you'll parade them depending on who the guest is. If the guest is wearing ochre robes, then it is Shuklam Varadharam and all these shlokas and bhajans. If it is a non-ochre, non-religious person, then the thing is Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, or some Bollywood song or something. Right? This is the entertainment section. So similarly, we literally take the Lord for a ride. So there is Ashwan Arohayami, Gajan Arohayami, Andolikam Samarpayami. So taking him on a horse ride or a elephant ride or a palanquin. And if I were to rewrite it, I would have said Ferrari Samarpayami, Lamborghini Samarpayami, chopper ride Samarpayami. Something unique, special. That is not that private jet Samarpayami. So one of the things there, after the rides are done, then we say all the scriptural references are also chanted for the pleasure of the Lord. So usually if it is an elaborate puja, then the pujaris, each one comes from a different shakha. There is a Rigvedi pujari, there is a Yajurvedi, then in the Yajurveda there is Krishna Yajurveda, Shukla Yajurveda, then Sama Veda, then Atharva Veda. From each Veda, more intricate and complicated than the other one that who has just chanted. They pick those segments and chant. And it's a quite entertaining and a sporty, competitive kind of an environment. A mock competition, but to do better than the presentation, to do the better than the other one, then reading from Mahabharata, Ramayana, different kinds of works are presented. One of the things that the Lord himself loves listening to is called Trisama. Trisama. In the Sama Gana or the Sama Veda portion, there are three main segments or three main ways of chanting. The first one is called Deva Sama, Vrata Sama, and Saman Sama. So these are the three categories. And he loves to listen from that. If you ever get to listen to the Sama Veda, you will also be enticed. In fact, they say that the entire music and the wisdom of music is embedded in the Samagana or the Sama Veda. The Saptaswara details are first intricately mentioned in the Sama Veda. And its chanting also is similar like that. So Bhagavan loves the Samagana, especially of these three categories or three shailis, and Therefore, his one of the names is Saman, Trisama. Like, in your family also, you may have somebody loving the old 60s, 70s songs. So in your playlist, it will say oldies. Do you have playlists like that? Okay. Kishore Kumar, Mohammad Rafi, Mukesh. Prior to that, it would be Talat Mahmood. These are all singers' names, oldies. If they are kids, they love their new age, techno, rock. And if they're completely lost in rock, then they call it as headbangers. Constantly banging their head. So they have their new age music. And sometimes we even call out each other with the basis of the music or the choice. So you pump up that music or blast that music and say, "Hey, all oldies, this is for you." Now, who did you call oldies? It is not because of the age. It is because of the song that you like. Right? Similarly, Bhagavan loves the Trisama. Therefore, he is also named as Trisama, the one who loves the Trisama aspect of the Samaveda. The second name, Samagaha. He just doesn't love it, he also loves it when somebody sings it for him. Samagaha is somebody who can sing. Sama Gayati iti Samagaha. And in Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan has said, Vedanam Samavedosmi. Of all the Vedas, I am the Samaveda. There must be some special affinity for Bhagavan to specifically pick. And thereby, when people make a commentary on the Vedic literature saying that the oldest Veda is 5,000 years, the youngest Veda is about 2,000 years, and Samaveda is about 2,500 years. I feel like reaching across and giving them a topspin and saying, the reference that we have is in Bhagavad Gita, where Bhagavan himself has said that Vedanam Samavedosmi, of the Vedas I am Samaveda, and it is given to us 5,130 plus years ago. It's very, it is dated. Bhagavad Gita is dated. In that Bhagavad Gita, he is referring Samaveda. Why am I highlighting this? The messed up representation of what we get of our own Vedic literature is to be rectified. Because the academic endeavor is to try to provide a date and time for it. And there cannot be a date and time for the Vedic literature. As I said, Mahabharata can be dated. Ramayana can be dated. Manusmriti and the other 14 Smritis can be dated. Kalidasa's Kritis, they can be dated because there is an authorship, you can date them. The Vedic literature is not something that is available for dating. Vedas don't date. Recently, some of the kids in the camp asked me, what is a Hindu perspective on dating? So I gave them as much as is the tangential question. So I gave them a tangential answer. I said, Vedas don't believe in dating. They don't date. We cannot date Vedas. Like, Swamiji, that was a PJ. No, that was a fact. How is it that the Vedas don't have date? Now, let me give simple examples. Any language, is there a date for that language? We can say roughly around this time it must have evolved with the influence of these languages or these environments. But there is no specific date to it. Is there an authorship for language? Music, medicine. These are all as ancient as humanity. And so are the Vedas, which are given directly by the Lord. Therefore, they are called Apaurusheya. And of those Vedas, he seems to love the Sama Veda. Trisama Samagaha. He loves to hear the Sama Veda being chanted. And he is also called Sama because Vedanam Sama Vedosmi. He says that he is among the Vedas, he is the Sama Veda. Nirvanam. We usually get confused with two words. Nirvanam and Niryanam. What is Niryana? Niryana is to die. So once finally somebody asked, confused with these words, Swamiji, have you reached your Niryanam? I don't believe I have. But if I have, then you must be speaking to my ghost right now. And he was like, what are you talking, Swamiji? I said, I'm answering your question. The Niryanam means death. Nirvanam. Definitely it is borrowed by the rock band called Nirvana. They did not create that word. It was the influence of the Hindu culture on hard rock that there are band names like Nirvana. Have you heard of those bands? No, I'm not advocating or advertising for them. It's borrowed. Nirvana. What does Nirvana mean? And there was also somebody trying to suggestively saying that Nirvana is a Buddhist principle. See, Bhagavan Buddha did not have a different vocabulary because he grew up in the Bharatavarsha, the peninsula of Bharata. Therefore, in his language, though he spoke in Pali, Pali is one of the ancient languages where all the, what is the Buddhist word called? Dhammabodha? I think it. No. Bodhisattva is the one who has written it, or one of those. It is called Dhammabodha. Dhammabodha. No, they don't say dharma, they say dhamma. So dharma becomes dhamma, karma becomes kamma. You know, all these words, concepts, where did he get from? He grew up in India, he got all these concepts right from there. Therefore, when he introduces the final state of realization as nirvana, he definitely used the words from the Hindu base. And therefore, it cannot just be said that it is a Buddhist concept, because this Vishnu Sahasranamam is older than Buddha himself. Okay. Now, what is nirvana? Sarva dukkha upashama lakshanam paramananda swarupam nirvanam. There are two aspects. What are the two aspects? Why is he called Nirvana? That who is beyond Sarva Dukkha Upashama Lakshanam. That who is beyond any influence of dukkha, sorrow. See, what is he trying to say here? That as long as we are interacting with the material world, there can be scope of turbulence called dukkha, restlessness called dukkha. Dukkha cannot be avoided. As much as a realized person cannot avoid food, water, sleep. Oh, you are realized? No food for you anymore. No, I was just kidding. I have not realized. Why? Food. As much as food, water, sleep is a requirement, as long as we are interacting with the world, because sometimes talking with the next generation, they're very, what you call, street smart kids, smart Alex. So once I was saying they're beyond dukkha. So this fellow pulls out a pin and says, if I poke you, you will not feel dukkha. No, I will not feel dukkha, but you will feel the dukkha because you will immediately get a top spin as well. So see that what you are saying and what you are experiencing are not. There will be dukkha because you are interacting with material. There will be restlessness. But whether that restlessness or dukkha influences you or not, that is what is being mentioned here. So here he says, Sarva Dukkha Upashama Lakshanam. The one who is beyond the influence or impact of dukkha. And Paramananda Rupam. Removal of dukkha is not instant sukha. Removal of dukkha is called relief. Removal of dukkha cannot be called as happiness. If you are wearing shoes and there is a small pebble or something that is gone in, you're trekking and you did not want to stop during that particular segment of trek because it is a very narrow lane and you look down, it is about 150 feet down and you didn't want to stop there, remove your shoe, remove the pebble. You said, I'll suck it up and then walk. You crossed that particular segment and came to a wider path where you feel little more secure. And then you sit down, remove your shoe, remove that pebble, and then put your shoe back on. How do you feel? Relief, right? So dukkha nivritti is called relief. Therefore, he is mentioning both. What is nirvana? That who has, or that sthiti where there is no impact or influence of dukkha, there is relief. And parama ananda swarupam, that which is of the nature of supreme bliss. Whenever it is mentioned that it is of the nature of Paramananda or supreme bliss, we have to immediately also understand, because we have been listening to these Vedantic concepts for a while, immediately we have to also include that therefore happiness cannot be called as an experience. Happiness cannot be called as a state of mind. If it were a state of mind, How fluctuating is our mind? We know it, right? How fluctuating it is. And if it were a state of mind which is constantly fluctuating, happiness is never something that can be attained. What we attain during our interactions with the material world outside are temporary moments of joy which we tend to enjoy. We may use exaggerated words like when you are enjoying something, how are you? I am blissed out. You may use those words, but still it is temporary. Whenever Paramananda Swarupam is mentioned, it is not a state of mind, it is not an experience, it is a state of being. It is your Swarupa. It is your nature. It is not your quality. Now, what is the between being your nature and not a quality? Quality can be acquired or lost. Nature always exists in spite of the environments. You asked for a cup of tea or cup of coffee. Especially when I go to these Starbucks and other places, I have to be specific, saying extra, extra hot. Because by the time they pour and add and everything mix and they bring it, it is like lukewarm. So I had to specify to them, I mean, I'm somebody who doesn't like extremely hot. But even for me, if I have to specifically ask for extra, extra hot, you can understand how cold the... So once on a jovial note, I was saying, hey, I paid for a cappuccino and you are making me drink a frappuccino. I ordered for a hot drink and you gave me a cold drink. Extra, extra hot. And these people, what? Tall, venti, grande. In different languages, all that it means is big. And the day when I understood that they were talking about the bigness, and the people order the biggest one, bucket size. And during your car ride, you are sipping on it. You reach your office. By then, it has already become cold. It has lost its temperature. So what do you do again? Microwave it, warm it up again. And you keep sipping it till lunch. The freshness and the taste is already gone, but it is a habit. I know many people that keep warming up their one cup of tea and they keep warming it up like again and again and again. Because that is its guna. Heat and cold are the guna of the liquid which can be acquired, which can be lost, which can be reacquired. The Swarupa is not something that is acquired, it is not something that can be lost. Am I getting across? You can become rich, you can become poor. You can become wise, you can become foolish. And however wise we think, have we not surprised ourselves by doing some foolish mistakes? Many times. We can acquire it, lose it. Being alive is not something that you acquire, lose and reacquire. That basic principle, that is the Swarupa Lakshana. So when he says yes, Paramananda Swarupam, it is the nature and it is not a guna not a property that can be acquired. It is not a quality that can be acquired or lost. Therefore, happiness, sometimes we use these cliches and we get caught up in these cliches because they seem to sound good. What do they call it? Sound bites. We get trapped in those sound bites. Some of these, that doesn't make sense to me, but I hear a lot. Happiness is not in the destination, it's in the journey. Some loser must have made that statement. Constantly losing it out, never reached that happiness ever in life, therefore made it up as a statement. A hopeful being made it as a hopeful statement. Oh, it is not in reaching somewhere, it is only in trying to find it. I've tried analyzing that statement in multiple angles. It has logical fallacy in it. That statement cannot be true. But don't we hear that cliched statement again and again? Somebody who has not gone through the good foundation of Vedanta, they end up making statements like, those cliched statements, we can understand. Having gone through Vedanta, we lace such statements into Vedanta, which have fallacy in their very statement itself. If it is our Swarupa, it is not even a destination to reach. You already are that. You just have to recognize. I love that word, recognize. Cognition, to know. You have forgotten. Recognition. You have to remind yourself. You become unmindful in between. We have to remind. You have to remember ourselves, our true nature, which is called Nirvanam. Bheshajam. Bheshajam. In almost every god's 1,000 names, you would find Bheshaja, Bhishak, these words often. That divine is worshipped or invoked as Bheshaja. Bheshaja as a medicine, as a doctor. Do you know Ayurveda was given by which god? Areva. I'm proud to hear the answer. Dhanvantari. And it was this Dhanvantari who gave this knowledge to Ashwini Kumar. Ashwini Kumaras are the doctors of the heavens. And from these Ashwini Kumaras, it was then given to Charaka, Sushruta and Vagbhatta. We have 3 treatises in Ayurveda: Charaka Samhita, Sushruta Samhita and Vagbhatta Samhita. And they always invoke the Lord as Bheshaja, Bheshajam, the one who is Samsara Rogasya Aushadham. Both ways. Aushadham, the Lord alone is Aushadhi. The Lord alone is the medicine. If hunger is troubling, what is the medicine for hunger? Food. And who is providing this food? We can always say hotel provided food. The restaurant provided food. Mother and my parents provided food. What are you saying?
I was just saying about nature.
Nature provides food. Now, in that nature, to have food in that format, which can be edible and used by us all. I mean, I'm a foodie and I love to cook. Sometimes I wonder how keen must have been our ancient ancestors that they have found so many different uh, sources. See, like say turmeric or ginger, you cannot see it from the outside. It is growing underneath. Now they extracted it, saw this yellow stuff, and not just that they found this yellow stuff, they also identified how best to use it. Now I hear that yellow latte, the turmeric latte has become a famous thing, in thing now. And when our parents used to give it, yucky. Now it comes in a $10, and then you go out there and sip it along with your friends, and then it's yummy. Bewkoof. See what impresses me is the ancestors. They not just found it, but also there is a mention in the Ayurvedic books that say turmeric has the best effect only if it goes through a heating process. Like it goes through the heating process during the seasoning or in through the boiling. That is when its impact is unleashed. Its whole potency is unleashed. I mean, it's a subtle observation. They made those observations. All these different things. In fact, in Ayurvedic schools, there is a story taught that there was a very famous Ayurvedic teacher called Nagarjuna. And his Guru Dakshina was of a unique kind. He would ask all the students to take 1 year off, travel far and wide. Whatever is available in nature, he would say, experiment with them, and if you find something which does not have medicinal value, bring that as my Guru Dakshina. Whether it is leaf, whether it is bark, whether it is stem, whether it is root, whether it is stone, whether it is a mineral, or a fruit skin, or a fruit seed, every aspect of it is nothing but medicine. Therefore, the shloka is Sharire Jajjari Bhute Vyadhigraste Kalebare Aushadam Janhavi Toyam Vaidyo Narayano Harihi. That every aspect of this creation is nothing but sacred medicine. There is nothing which is not useful. We may not know its use, but everything has a medicinal property to it. It changes the very perspective of how we interact with the world. When there is thick grass that grows in the soft grass, The thick grass is weeded out as if it were a weed, just because it is not in its uniformity with the rest of it. But that doesn't make it unnecessary. Do you know what is the what you call remedy for the snake poison or the scorpion poison? It's the poison that is taken from these animals or insects, which is morphed into the formatting of medicine. Which is nothing but poison is a complex protein. And they take that complex protein to use it in such a way that it is broken up into the smaller proteins which the body can digest and expunge. Every aspect of creation is a medicine. So in that format, he is Bheshaja at a physical, empirical world. Therefore, Adi Shankaracharya ji also mentions in Sadhana Panchakam, Kshut Vyadhischa Chikitsatam Pratidinam Bhikshaushadam Bhujyatam. Kshut meaning hunger, Vyadhi, it is like a disease. And what is a chikitsa? What is a remedy for it? Pratidinam bhikshaushadam bhujyatam. Eat food as a medicine to remove the ailment called hunger and not the other way around. See, if all the medicines, there are people who love, say, Benadryl. It is sweet. More than it being sweet, the percentage of something else that it carries is quite high. Alcohol is about 4%. Pretty high. It knocks you out. Just because you like the taste of certain medicine, do you keep pouring it all? No. It has to be taken in appropriate dosage. Similarly, hunger is a disease and you don't eat for the taste of it, but you eat it for the remedy that it provides. So the entire food is nothing but aushadha, which is bheshaja. Now the other understanding or concept here is samsara itself is a disease. And what is the prime virus of this disease? It is called ego. What is the samsara virus called? Ego. And who can break this virus? Is the Lord. Samsara rogasya aushadham bheshajam. And it is this ego that has to be annihilated mercilessly. Darunaha, we saw yesterday. There is no pampering there. Therefore, in the Gurukula system, there is no room for pampering. Because the Guru's job is to tamper with that who is expecting pampering. To scrub that fellow out. You may have seen YouTube videos, if you have not seen them, of how people react to the doctors when they are giving injections. You are a doctor, right? Do you find hilarious expressions of people when you want to give them a injection? The injection is not even being administered, they are already. I'm not even talking of kids. These are adults. My brother was like that. Take him to the hospital for injections. My mother, she had to run around to catch hold of him. So from the next time onwards, whenever he was to be taken, I was the. So make sure that you catch him and bring him. Man, for next 4 or 5 days until he could remember the pain, I was his sworn enemy. After coming back home, he has thrown remotes at me, he has thrown fruits at me. Angry. Or people react to it. However, they react. Piercing that needle in and administering that medicine is the doctor doing a bad thing there? Not at all. Sometimes we work with the scalpel and then cut open and do we say that the doctor is a bad person? Yes, if the doctor forgets the scalpel inside and put the sutures outside, then there is something wrong. But 3 months ago, I was reading somewhere that a doctor was sued because there was a that with which you put sutures that was left in the stomach. Things like that can happen. That's why I love doctors only as my friends. I don't want to have them as my enemies. They can pop it open and put so many things in or take so many things out, you will not know what it is. They count? They have to count. You cannot say, oh. Oh, right. You have to count how many sponges are there, how many things that have been used, are they accounted for? It can be costly mistake. Other than that, when the doctor is administering, it is for the benefit of that person. Similarly, when the Guru or Bhagwan who comes in the form of Guru, his job is not to pamper that ego. Constantly keep saying, oh, you have done a good job. It is in our interest that we grow, transcend beyond our ego. That the Lord takes the form of the Guru, who is the Bheshaja, the medicine for us to grow out of this samsara roga. So Bheshajam, Aushadham, the medicine is himself, God himself. Bhishak, the doctor is also God himself. Amazing, right? So he is the medicine and he is the medicine man. Both. Bheshajam, Bhishak. Sanyasakrit. Sanyasakrit. The one, now pay attention to this one, okay? The one who expresses as the fourth institution of our life. Brahmacharya, Grihastha, Vanaprastha. Chaturtha is sannyasa. So why does he claim that sannyasa is his own expression. See, now here he is not just talking about the mindset of sannyasa. Because when we start symbolically talking about things, we usually symbolize and take a superficial cut of understanding. Yes, sannyasa is a mindset. But then it is not a very easy path. Why is it not an easy path? Technically, everything that which you hold on to, every concept, every security that which we hold on to, has to be cut asunder on that day when you take sannyasa. Literally everything has to be removed. It's a very intense experience. It is about 3 days long. First intensity is 3 days you have to live on milk. And if you are lactic intolerant, बैंड बज गई. So then you have to sustain yourself on water for 3 days. That you can muster up a little courage and get through. Then throughout these 3 days, there is a certain amount of prayaschitta mantra. Asking, seeking for forgiveness from every aspect of this creation. All that which you have interacted with in the past, in the recent past, in the remote past, every aspect of creation, every aspect of nature, we seek forgiveness. Forgiveness from the 5 elements, forgiveness from earth, forgiveness from the skies, forgiveness from all the food, forgiveness for all the different aspects of this creation. And then a sannyasi has to perform, let's say, the last rites for his own being. So you perform the pinda dana karma for your own self, and that was the heights of it, like the intensity of it. Once you understand the meaning of what you're doing, that you are literally doing that process which is offered to someone who is dead to this world, unto yourself, with the understanding that that ego is dead to this world henceforth. Therefore, Adi Shankaracharya ji says that why is this Chaturthashrama? Mokshartham Chaturtham Ashramam Krutavan iti Sannyasakrit. The one who established the 4th ashrama with the sole purpose of moksha. Therefore, he is named as Sannyasakrit, the one who has established the 4th ashrama of sannyasa. See, in our Vaidika traditions, we have started living a life of conveniences, that many of the processes that which we were supposed to is either forgotten or not practiced, or both. Forgotten, therefore not practiced. We go through brahmacharya learning process. Invariably, we get into grihastha ashrama. The first 2 done. Third and 4th is not just forgotten, is eliminated. So when does the Vanaprastha start? So all those who have hit 50, stop being sensitive of being called as not just uncle, auntie, as grandfather, grandmother. Because you have to withdraw from all kinds of securities and support systems that you have developed, without giving up which moksha cannot be the path. To be born, to be married, to have kids, and then to die was not the purpose of life. Every single human being, to attain that moksha, the fourth ashrama was made a necessity. So it takes about 20 years to completely become independent of all support system. Then enter into sannyasa. See, even to it appears, now I'm finding it difficult to talk about sannyasa being a sannyasi, but even the ochre color, if Swami Taponam Maharaj were here, I don't think we would have had the opportunity to even be sitting on a mat which was of ochre color. His respect for sannyas ashrama was so high that he would not even step on something which is of ochre color. Because that fourth ashrama is something which is designed by the Lord for the sole purpose. And what is the sole purpose of life? Moksha, which is, see, dharma, artha, kama. Husband and wife together have to continue. Moksha is not a joint account. It is an individual account. When you eat food, does your wife's hunger get satiated? When your wife takes medicine for your headache, does your headache you get relieved from your headache? I'm not asking foolish questions, I'm asking something serious. Yes or no? Similarly, for moksha, it is not a together effect. Each one for himself or herself has to strive to reach to that core of our own existence. And that fourth path was given by the Lord. Therefore, he is called Sannyasakrit. Shamaha. Shamaha, the one who has or who expresses as the control of mind. So in Tattva Bodha, we come across the Shamadhi Shatka Sampatti. Shama, Dama, Uparama, Titiksha, Shraddha, Samadhanam Chaiti. So it is not Sama, it is Shama. Shama and Dama, what is the difference? Dama is the control of organs of perception and action. Shama is control of mind. Who is a true sannyasi? That in whose life they experience a balance of mind, control of mind. In their life, Bhagavan has expressed himself as Shama. Now, control of mind is not blocking yourself from any interaction with the world outside. That is not called Shama. there is a ancient story. There was a senior sannyasi and a younger generation person who had taken sannyasa. They both had gone on some yatra and they were returning back. As they were returning back, there was a river in Spate and they braved it. And as they were coming across halfway through, looking at them, there was another woman also who wanted to cross the same way. And have you ever walked in a full-fledged river? Not swimming, walking. The surface is it's quite a challenge. Sometimes there are sharp stones, sometimes there are slippery stones. And this lady slipped and she was getting dragged into the flow. The younger one immediately jumped, caught hold of her, saved her, brought her to the other side. And they parted their ways, and as this senior, he started scolding the younger one. You touched a woman? Being a sannyasi, you touched a woman? And he kept, pecking at him with this all through. And he reached the ashram and still continued. And they took him, and this senior one took him to the main pontiff, saying that, this fellow touched this lady in this kind of environment. So justify your action. So this fellow said, yes, I did have to touch a woman to save her. But believe me, I dropped her there, but he has been carrying her in his head all through since then. Shamaha, control of mind, is not an ability wherein you just stifle the mind up and then throttle it from not functioning. That is not called control. That is called mismanaged mind. What is control of mind? That first, it is accessible. That when I want to use it in a certain environment, in a certain direction, it is accessible, it is available. Every time in the Arati, they say, Tan, Man, Dhan, Sab Kuch Hai Tera. So why Bhagwan is laughing? First control your mind and then give it to me, then say Tera. It is not even in your control. What are you talking about giving it to me? So the mind, first it has to be accessible. Second, it be ready, focused in any field that it can be applied. I don't know, this is all new. Learn. If necessary, learn. More important than applying is to withdraw from that interaction without any residual impact. That you are not carrying any dust of that experience, any tarnished things of that experience back into your heart. See, in the older generation, the house had a certain sanctity to it. Now the houses have certain utility to it. The sanctity is gone through the roof. What do I mean? The houses were constructed in such a way that even before you enter into the house, you are expected to wash your hands, legs and face and then enter into the house. It was done outside, All that which is the dirt from outside has to be cleaned before you even enter. And the bathrooms and the toilets were not a part of the main structure of the house. It was behind the house, separated out. Whatever are those dirt and germs and other things should not be a portion of your main living process. So much focus was on hygiene, not just external, even internal. The same principle applied with the mind, that it goes out to interact. When it comes back, clean it up, dust it up thoroughly, and then retrieved. That there are no repercussions of any residual impact. None whatsoever. But the way that we have is, there are many people I have seen, after they cook, they take a shower. Do you also have such practice? There are many sophisticated. I'm glad that you say you shower and then cook. There are many who have seen that they first cook and then take a shower. Why? After cooking, their hair and hands and their body smells of the cooking, which they don't want to carry forward. Therefore, they take a shower. Especially I don't know who has designed it, the kitchen cooking system, there is a vent. It sucks up all the air. It's such a flawed utility. It sucks it up to blow it back where? The vent is right on the head level. See, many of the Indians, they now understand it and then keep the vent outside. If you go into the apartments, where is the vent? Right over that machine, and it is blowing back into your hair. You don't even need to go there, smell their hair. They're passing by, you can smell. Oh, today you cooked shak and roti. How did you know? I am Trikalagnya. I know everything. So please take a shower, then cook, and then take a shower if need be. Because you don't want those smells. You yourself don't like those smells to be retaining on yourself. As much as this outside smell, the mind, when it goes out into the world interacting, when you bring it back, all those layers of vasanas, the dust of the repercussions of that experience has to be wiped out and then retrieve that mind. So there are three things that I said. One, to have accessibility of mind. Second, to know where to apply, how to apply, and to be able to apply it in all fields where required. And then the ability to withdraw without any repercussions. That is called Shama. Once that mind is trained enough to do these three steps, then you sit on the seat of meditation. What happens is called reaching to the source or core of your being. Without these three steps undertaken, we sit only to continue the horizontal into a vertical continuation. There is no meditation happening, there is only sleep happening. If sleep is not happening, then there is So much of chaos of mind constantly running all over the place. There is no Shanti. Why? The mind is not prepped for meditation. Once Shama is done, what we experience is Shantaha, peace. Now, on that platform of Shanti, Nishtha happens. What is Nishtha? Firm abidance in our true nature. Nishtha. So beautiful. Sannyasakrit, Shamaha, Shantaha, Nishtha. After these 4 steps, then he says, what is the last word? Parayanam. Parayanam. Parama utkrishtam ayanam sthanam. Ayanam. Ayanam means abode. See, therefore, we use the word Narayana. Narayana, it's a very deep meaning word. There are 2 parts to it. Nara and Ayana. The root word for Nara is Nr. Nr means knowledge. Who is qualified for this knowledge that can be acquired? Because we hold that qualification, we are called Nara Nari. Man and woman, we are qualified for that knowledge. The one who gives that knowledge is called Narada, the one who gives knowledge. Often Narada is misrepresented as the mischief monger that constantly creates confusions and restlessness. But the one who gives knowledge is called Narada. That place where this knowledge is not appreciated or applied is called Naraka. Absence of knowledge is called hell. Naraka. And what is the final abode of this knowledge? The abode of knowledge is called Narayana. Ayanam utkrishtam sthanam. Sa Brahma eva. That Brahman alone is the final abode, final resting place or final core of our being. Therefore, it is called Parayanam. Parayanam, the final abode, having reached to the platform of Shanti within. And then Nishtha in one's own true nature. The final culmination happens, and that culmination is called Parayanam. So with this, we conclude this particular shloka, and we have finished. I'm just trying to find the number of names that we have covered. 585 names of the Lord. Nishtha Shanti Parayanam. So 585 names of the Lord, we have finished. We'll continue it next time. that we sit to understand. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.